a 3-point platform, basically. Obviously there's other bills and issues that I support along the way, but these 3 ones that I see that are the main issues are ones that the Green Party at the state level also support in their platform. The legalization of cannabis, the fact that schools should be fully funded and public, and that every child should be given a quality education, and the fact that we should have alternative energy that benefits the community as opposed to, a few private corporate interests. So, that's basically what I'll be running on, highlighting the most. That's basically my 3-point plan.
Now, let's start digging into some of the details on this now. And I'm actually going to do this kind of in reverse order here. You talk about, community usable green and renewable energy. What kind of things can you do to try to make this more of a reality?
So basically right now the state gives out tax subsidies to nuclear power. So I would take those subsidies and I would reuse them for, let's say, solar panels, geothermal energy, or I would also support for methanol gas. Now, methanol is still a carbon-emitting gas, but out of all the alcohol fuels, it is the least carbon-emitting. The only other option for fuels is hydrogen fuel, which still takes energy to split the hydrogen from the oxygen.
All right, and so we're looking at the changing in subsidies. What about on? I mean, actually, let's continue on for a moment while I think about this one a little bit more. On the education side, now you want public schools for what do you mean by that?
So basically right now, what we see with a lot of the funding is that sometimes it goes to charter schools, and I'm not against alternative schooling. I think that homeschooling can be one of the best things a parent can do if they have the time, honestly. But I just don't agree with the fact that they're using public funds and they're not held to the same quality or to the same standard. Now, some areas of the country do well with charter schools. Other areas don't. Before we start dumping in public money and taking away from public schools, let's look at how that actually will work in our region. Okay.
Do you have any particular... Now, when we start looking at the schools themselves, there are some schools that seem to need help. Do you have any plans, or is there anything specific on schools to be able to help out that, as far as the public schools? I mean... And how could you go about that? And again, I'm saying how could you, in a sense that I'm not necessarily looking for the promise. I'm just looking for what are the things that your office, if you are elected, is actually capable of doing for the people in your community.
So let's look at an example for Buffalo. I would look at schools that would be considered persistently failing, and if their schools have a high population of refugees or a high immigrant population, then possibly they would need more English language coordinators. That's something that would help increase the quality of education in that school. If we look at Kenton, there's a really big issue because the Huntley plant is closing on River Road, and they provided tons of local property taxes for the schools. So that plant should be converted into another industry that provides property taxes for the schools. My suggestion would be a hemp processing facility, which you could ferment into biogasoline, like I said, the methanol gas, and then that would provide enough taxes for the schools for Kenton. So that's something I look at. We just need to make sure that we keep increasing industry in a responsible way that actually benefits the community.
All right. And now the first point that you had made...